Jerry Barton was on with Piers Morgan tonight. I don't know whether you saw any of that when you were here, but he got into a terrible spat on Twitter, or X, if you like, because he decided to have a go, not at women's football, but at women commentators on male football. Let's have a look at what he said to Piers.
Well, there is some female pundits out there who are capable and have earned credibility over a long period, but also there's lots at this moment. There's a... Well, I don't want to name names. I'm not here to name names. There's lots of good people. But also the majority are poor and the standards are poor. And it's factually incorrect information.
So, Jerry Barton, never an uncontroversial figure. Back in the news. I'm not even sure if he's got a job managing at the moment, because he normally gets a bit worked up and gets fired. He basically said that he doesn't think women who have not played football at the high level that men have played it at, they shouldn't have any business commenting on the tactics of the game. And he said he quite likes female football, and he quite likes watching it. It's quite entertaining, but he said it's just not the same, and so they shouldn't be doing it. But I used to get this when I worked at TalkSport, because there's some footballers who think because you've never played football at professional level, you shouldn't have a view, which is clearly nonsensical.
And also the flip side of that is that if you have, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can actually talk about it coherently or with any actual insights. That actually it's very rare to be an actual professional.
Yeah.
And I would think someone like Shane Warne, absolutely superb cricketer, was also a brilliant commentator, but there doesn't actually have to be...
There's not that many footballers who are good at commentating and good at giving analysis.
Also, like,
Jerry Barton is a very smart guy, and I think he knows what he's doing. And I don't agree with him on that.
But it was so patronising. Yeah. The idea that women actually can't comment on something, in effect, that's what
I think he was mostly, though, talking about women professionals who have turned their sport into commentary.
I prefer watching women's football anyway, simply because you don't get the racist chance. People who go to see a women's football game aren't going to, throw a banana on the pitch, for example. Aren't going to shout homophobic abuse.
They don't really do that anymore.
Of course for a penalty.
Well, exactly, because they're female professionals that get on with the game. But however, I have friends that do watch male football, unlike I do, who were like, well, it's less rough, it's less exciting, it's less this, but it doesn't.
But
it doesn't really matter. Like surely anybody who follows a game can commentate on it. Surely.
Well, apologies to cretins like Joe Barton, but I'm going to be one of those women that knows nothing about football. So we're going to talk about football now. But I think you're being a bit snooty about football fans. Actually, Sam, they don't throw bananas on pitches anymore. And they did.
Very few of them actually did.
And they didn't in their masses previously. Yeah. I think there's an interesting... I think there's outside of... I don't care what Joe Barton has to say about women. I don't care what he has to say about women who comment about football. He's a small man. But there's an interesting thing happening around the sort of politicization of football, which is that you feel like you have to say, yes, I love the England team and the Lionesses.
Yeah.
And in actual fact, a lot of it just comes down to taste. A lot of it just comes down to...
And he did make that point. He said, you're made to feel like some kind of pariah if you don't like women's football.
And the unfortunate thing is that rather than having a sort of normal discussion about football funding, publicity, whatever you like, sexism in the sport, whatever you like, you end up having this crass debate where it takes someone like Joey Barton to come out and say, well, I'm just going to say it, as if he's saying what everyone's thinking. Of course, he's not.
No.
He's the crass end of it. But there is something to talk about the politicisation of football, censorship of football fans, sanitising of the sport, sort of skyrocketing prices, all the rest of it.
Taking the knee.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a lot.
Taking the knee and not holding a minute's silence for the people who were butchered by Hamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let people play football and let people listen to who they want and comment.
But in a way, the reason why Joey Barton's comments are so offensive is because actually... Because when he speaks, quite a lot of people listen to him because he does have a track record. And he's actually creating an obstacle, a barrier to entry for women who are entitled to be able to speak and commentate.
Well, you've probably got more chance, to be honest. You've probably got more chance getting on Match of the Day if you're a woman than if you're Joey Barton.